Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard. Oh, in the beginning, that intro that I played, if you guys ever heard, Terrence Howard actually only made, that was crazy even here. He only made $12,000 from Hustle and Flow. He barely made anything from Hustle and Flow whatsoever. And then to even sadder to see that he didn't make any money from the record, and they made all that money from His Heart Out Here for a Pimp, for merch and all that shit, because they owned the, well, how they did it was real slick. They made it so they signed the artist that was in the movie to their record company. You know what I mean? That they said little shady bullshit like that they did to him. I couldn't even believe my ears when I heard that. But a lot of people couldn't believe their ears when this shit came out either, I guess.
You know, there's a short life in
Why
the
do you
acting
think that
world.
is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, you know? Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what Heath had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, you know? But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
Man said when you go fluid, it's gone. He said some of them get fluid. When you go fluid, it's gone. That was funny as hell. I never been a science person that hate big words. However, when Terrence spoke in Hollywood Experience, I understood everything he said, and he didn't use it. Yes, he talks very simplistic. I do like that as well. He makes sure that the person can comprehend. I mean, as an actor, as a very experienced actor, he's probably, has years and decades of public speaking. So, I mean, talking, and that's just with anything. The more simplistic you talk to a person, the more, of course, they can comprehend. And when you talk their language, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure Terrence knows how to do that with the many roles that he's done. He knows how to talk the language. You know what I mean? He knows how to talk a regular person's language versus what he, would like to, the way that he would like to articulate it. You know what I mean? He can use the big words, but it's like you don't have to overemphasize. Like T.I. will overemphasize certain big words just to use them, of course, to teach people, but you don't always have to do that. You can talk to people, like I said, very simplistic. You don't always have to flex your vocabulary. You know what I mean? You don't have to flex your vocabulary. Yeah, when you go fluid, you do it. I was like, wow. When you go fluid, it's gone. You lose that man card when you go fluid. That's a new one right there. When you go fluid, do it.
No matter what.
Man, I mean, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything.
Nah. Man's just cooking. Mine's just cooking. And he ain't, listen. As King Osborne said earlier, Free B, the homie, what's going on? As he said it earlier. Said it with his chest. Put names on it. Bieber, all of them. So they got their man card taken and they need therapy. Because somebody finally fucking said it. Somebody finally fucking said it. Sold the hole to get the gold. That's filthy business. Jay Williams, what's going on? Sold the hole to get the gold. Took the man card. And he, like I said, he put names on it. Right back, he put names on them bullets.
They get to the point where they have their way to try and get rid of any principles there are, and that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role,
hold on.
they get and gave up your.
With that,
they can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and
he said he's just looking at me. He said I came over here and I fell for it at first, but this nigga was just looking at me. He ain't really want to learn nothing. This nigga was just looking at me the whole time. They all of a sudden, let me help you with your music. Help you with my music. Listen to your music. And see, that's how Puffy do. Now he want to turn the tables on some, all right, you was helping me with something. You know what I'm saying? I need to help you with something. Let me help you with your music. Terrence ain't worried about no goddamn record deal, nothing like that.
Play the music, and he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman.
He wasn't trying to hear that shit. He was like, yo, what this nigga want, bruh? I ain't with the goofy shit. I ain't with the funny business. What does he really want, bro? Talk about something he want to hang out with me next week. And all he had to hear was one thing from his assistant. His assistant had to have been a woman. And he, once she said it, because she could tell more than anything. What Diddy's intentions was. The way he was acting, the way he was moving. She could tell a gay nigga from anything. So, told him straight up, like, yo, he trying to fuck you, bro. I don't know if you have to tell Terrence much. We gonna keep our distance. We gonna keep our distance with this wild boy over here. That's what I'm saying. Everybody can't be lying on him. Hoodie tucked in the fedora. Yeah, Terrence is a man of class. Terrence is a man of class. He a man of class, but he definitely about that. He definitely about that. He definitely about that life. And wild thing is, like, he's the, like, I have to give him a round of applause because it's like he the first one to, like, really say what his experience was and not sugarcoat the shit, not try to dodge the bullet. He grabbed the gun and shot the bitch. he ain't dodged the bullet or nothing. He grabbed the gun and shot himself. Took the shot his damn self. That's what I respect about this little segment right here. He ain't have to ask him about what you think about Diddy. He just came out and said, "What, yo, listen, we done heard the stories about Diddy. Hell, I'll tell you a story about what the fuck happened to me. Straight up. Straight like that. I have to respect that."
You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
It's crazy because you look at Joaquin Phoenix now, right? Joaquin Phoenix, I told you guys before, I shared that article about him getting cold feet like 2 weeks before. He was supposed to play a gay guy. And it was supposed to be like a, what do you call a rated NR or something like that. Or rated something like that. The way it was going to be like real graphic nudity. Like real graphic shit. I guess they was going to be getting they fuck on as men. And he wasn't down with that shit. He turned that shit down. Now, the news came out that he turned down the gay role. Like they made it a thing that he turned down the gay role. I said, oh, this is going to be bad. The funny thing was, or should I say the fucked up thing was, that article about him turning down the gay role came out right before Joker 2 was supposed to drop. And as y'all know, Joker 2 was like the most promoted shit until that article came out. That article came out, all of a sudden Joker 2 come out, oh, Joker 2's bad, Joker 2's this, it's just a bullshit musical. All of a sudden, all the bad reviews for Joker 2. I said, oh, they blackballed my dude. He did so well with Joker 1, had the most anticipated movie with Joker 2. And because he turned down the gay role, it's nothing but bad reviews. Nobody went to see the movie. Does shit in the box office now. I didn't even go see Joker 2 because it was so many goddamn bad reviews. I was like, well, shit, do I really want to go see the motherfucker now? I might end up watching it this weekend just to see what the fuck everybody was like, or should I say why they did that. Or I know why they did that, but I'm saying what the bad reviews really were. If there was anything to give a bad review for, is what I'm saying. Yes, Tyler Perry-ish. Very Tyler Perry-ish. Denzel waited until Gladiator 2 to give up his man card. Yep. But I mean, everybody said Denzel been sold out though. Everybody said Denzel been sold out years ago. He been sold out. I remember, I don't know why I always think of the line that Jada said, why Denzel had to be crooked before he took it. Just like Halle Berry had to sleep with a white guy to get an Oscar. So, I mean, hey. Everybody that's in Hollywood that's a big name has done something. Let's just say that. They've done something. I'll get blackballed before I gotta look at somebody's balls. That's true. That's true. That's very true. And that's the thing. You always see it'll be the Terrence Howards that'll stop getting the movies. You know what the crazy thing is, right? And I was thinking about this too. I was like, what if Empire really fucked him over? What if Empire was the reason he really just said fuck all this? Because remember, Jussie Smollett ended up being his gay son on the show. We ain't really seen Terrence Howard in too many big shit besides Empire since then, right? I mean, he's been in movies, of course. He's been in low budget movies, but he hasn't been in anything like, oh, we got to see this. He hasn't been in anything mainstream like that since Empire. I'm really thinking that whole thing fucked him up with him having to have the gay son that came out on the show and shit like that. I'm pretty sure something messed him up with that. Yes, but I didn't even get to say it. Thank you, Medusa. Brashear Gray. Brashear Gray. Because lo and behold, people say that Diddy and Will Smith. That Diddy and Will Smith had this boy hemmed up. They took that boy manhood, people are saying. So I'm wondering now, like I said, that Empire show is what was the last straw with him. I feel like that's really what happened. That whole thing, like I said, with the Jussie Smollett shit, I'm talking about behind the scenes and on the show with him being the gay son, and then behind the scenes him having the shit with the Haitians, and because he got emotional over that shit on what they was doing with Jussie, and it felt more like he understood that they were taking Jussie's manhood. Like he probably was a good friend with Jussie before what happened to him in Hollywood. So now it's like, damn, but I fucked with you, Jussie, and now you one of them over there. Like, damn, I hate what Hollywood did to you. Then Brashear. Yeah, then the show just vanished. The show pretty much vanished when Terrence left it. If you think about it, the show really just vanished away. It had zero appeal to it anymore. Which wasn't his name on the show Lucian? I remember specifically, wasn't it something like that? Because I remember Empire was based on something else. Because Empire originally was, I remember Dame Dash said it. Power and Empire was pretty much like, I guess you could say hand in hand. I remember something like that was going on where Power and Empire, Lee, what was his name? Was it Lee Williams? Dan Lee, was it Dan Lee Williams or something like that? That he was beefing with. I'm about to go off track now. Hold on. Who was he beefing with? Dame Dash. Lee Daniels. That's what it was. It was Lee Daniels. It was something with Lee Daniels where he was fighting over him with the idea for Empire. That Dame Dash said that Lee Daniels stole the idea from him, and I remember Power pretty much came out and everybody was like Empire. I should say Power was biting off of Empire, and Dame Dash was like, nah, just Lee Daniels tried to steal that whole damn idea. So I gave the idea to Fifth to do something different. That's what it was. Okay. Now, I don't want to lose my damn train of thought now. Hold on. There's something else I was getting to. Lucius. That's what it was. Lucius. Okay. I knew I was getting to something. Okay. No, it was Lucius. Icon's right. It was Lucius. But, yeah. Name on the show was Lucius. I was like, okay. And he was a record executive. I was like, oh. I see who this is really playing off of, this story. I get it. I get it now. Again, this is why Terrence Howard, I'm pretty sure once Terrence Howard knew who he was actually supposed to be portraying, a.k.a. Lucian Grange, I'm pretty sure, because everybody thought he was supposed to be portraying like a Jay-Z type character, right? But lo and behold, he was really portraying Lucian Grange that ended up having a gay son. because he's supposed to pass the label down or whatever. But if you look in hindsight, Lucian Grange, the real Lucian Grange, ends up passing a label down to his son. Now, I don't know if he is, you know what I'm saying, on that other side of the fence, but at the same time, I can't put it past him considering Tekashi 6ix9ine was your first artist. So, West, y'all. What's going on, Shree Purnell? What's going on? What's going on? Let me see now. Yeah, let me continue this, wrap this little part up here because there is something else we need to get into while we're on the topic. Justin Bieber, his last live on IG. People are not too thrilled about seeing. We'll get into that in a second.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast. This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the Chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work and finished it. Now I can go on and do whatever else we need to do. Hi, everyone. My name is Terrence Howard. I'm an actor, but in the field of science also. So if you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Minect. The QR code is down below, and let's have a great conversation.
Man's had his own ad ready. That is crazy right there. He had his own ad ready. So if you would like to reach out to Terrence Howard and you have some questions and want to have a conversation with him, like I said, feel free to hit him up on Minect. Feel free to hit him up on my neck. Interesting gentleman, yeah. Interesting gentleman there. When he talked about science, I got lost. And see, that's the thing. I need to relook at that interview, of course, when he broke down the different equations of the periodic table. And he broke down Pythagorean's theory. I was like, wow. For a nigga to break down Pythagorean's theory, I was like, all right, you got it. You got it. You got it.